Super Cool Radio!
Hey everyone, before we jump into the show, I want to tell you about our merch store on Threadless. Shop a wide variety of logos with multiple colors and sizes available for each design. Your support is greatly appreciated and helps us continue to make killer content like this episode. Please visit supercoolradio.threadless.com or the link in the description to shop now. Hello everyone. I am Matthew Thomas. This is Super Cool Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in on your favorite streaming platform. I have a really great guest who I'll bring on momentarily. She was on for our Season 4 opener at Michigan Metal Fest. She's the lead vocalist for Casket Robbery. She is Megan. Very recently, Casket Robbery released a brand new album entitled Rituals of Death. The album is amazing. If you've not checked it out, I highly recommend everybody check it out. And to give you guys a little bit of a taste of Rituals of Death, I'm going to feature one of my favorite songs off the album, and that is Return to the Sky. So before I bring on Megan, you get to hear Return to the Sky. So check it out and enjoy.
Return to the sky! The vultures will fly! Eagle birds circle the sky, surveyed by death and decay. The warrior robes lies in wait. Your consciousness struck right from your bones. In offering to appease, give back to the earth that gave you life. Time burns my place. Time burns my place. Body breakers, cold day flesh, exposed to your burns. But my life they fall in line. Strongest one takes the first blood. Undefeated carnal screeching until they gave you life. Time burns my place. Time burns my place. Blood is gold, left unopposed. Grounds are placed until no truth. Return to the sky. The vultures will fly. Time burns my place. Burns my place. My place. My place.
People should be familiar with my guest this time. She's appeared on Brutal Block, plus she was part of the Season 4 opener at Michigan Metal Fest. Please welcome Megan, the lead vocalist for Casket Robbery.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Very nice to see you again. I know we met in Battle Creek on a very cold August day, cold and
We
rainy
did.
August day, but it's very nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So I know we have much to discuss. Obviously, you guys went on tour. You guys got the new album out, new music video. But before we get to all of that, I know Casket Robbery and yourself very horror inspired. So I know it's November, but horror is year round for me. So what are your top 3 favorite horror movies?
Oh, that's so hard. Because they switch a lot too. It's funny, we get asked this one a lot, and I recently switched it up a little bit, but I guess top 3 right now, we're gonna go with Pumpkinhead, Scream, and Evil Dead.
Great horror answers. I really like that. All 3 very, very great movies. Scream's one of my favorite, and
Yes.
Evil Dead. So is that the original Evil Dead? I presume.
Yeah, Corey would say Evil Dead 2, but I'm gonna go with the first one.
I prefer the first one because the second one, the only knock on the second one I have is it kind of like retold the first one, but like with no context to the movie. That's my only knock for it. But well, I guess I didn't really have any answers prepared for me because I'm just the interviewer. But I will answer. If I think They Live counts as some type of horror because obviously Carpenter was the writer for it and director. So I'm gonna count They Live. I'm gonna say let's see, The Devil's Rejects by Rob Zombie. Very, very great, very well done. And you already took Scream, so I'm not gonna say that one. But I will say The Crow, even that's more kind of comic book sci-fi kind of thing. But I'm gonna count it.
It counts. Yeah. I think my honorable mention is Idle Hands. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
There's so many out there. That's why I was curious. That's why I started off. I know you guys talk about horror a lot because obviously you guys are Casket Robbery. So now, kind of going back before for you joining Casket Robbery, it's been a little over 5 years. So was this your first band you were part of, or were you part of previous bands before?
I was in a band before. I was in a metalcore, like a local metalcore band, before this in Madison, called Disappearance. And I did like, I don't know, I'd say pretty much like 50-50 cleans and harsh vocals. And then Corey needed someone to fill in on the tour that was booked after the last vocalist left. And he asked if I'd be interested. And I was like, well, yeah, but I've never done like all harsh vocals. Like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if that's a thing I can do. And just, did it and fell in love with it. So, yeah.
I was just curious because I know you've obviously talked about the origins of Casket Robbery and the name and all that stuff, but I know you were joined the band as a vocalist later on.
Yeah.
So was it more like because they originally had a male vocalist, so like switching to you as a female vocalist, was that like part of the idea, or just kind of like this is like the right place, right time for you kind of thing?
I think it was right place, right time for me, honestly. It was like I was just, and I still am doing like guttural, like harsh vocals, false chord vocals. So that was it. But yeah, I just kind of, Corey and I had done a side project a few months earlier called Meet Me Below. And we released one song off of it, From the Depths. And you can find it on YouTube. But that was my first kind of shot at all harsh vocals in it. And we had kind of toyed with the idea of making a band with that. And then this kind of just happened. And I very quickly just felt at home here. And this is what I was supposed to do. So that's kind of how that played out.
That's really cool, and it kind of just happened, a little bit organically too, with you joining Casket Robbery. So, was it a little bit of like a learning curve or challenge to, do all the guttural, harsh vocals, throughout the entire songs?
It was because I learned their full set of that first Evolution of Evil album, and I remember the first couple like rehearsals. The amount of breath power that it takes to do false chord screaming, oh my goodness, I'd be like almost passing out. And that was just building more and more breath power throughout this. And then kind of getting thrown into my first tour really solidified everything for me, being able to sustain my voice, doing that correctly and to where it wasn't damaging my voice at all, for over a month of shows. Probably was the best thing for me, honestly.
Oh, definitely. I mean, anything to strengthen your body. I know, it's slightly, different with, doing like vocals and stuff. So you have to change, your body and how, you have to build stamina and stuff for that. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you stuck with it. Obviously, obviously 5 years later, you're still doing it. And
Yep.
I would assume it's probably progressed and gotten easier since then.
Yes.
Right
Yes,
on.
it has. COVID took it away a little bit. I mean, I was still practicing over COVID, but there's nothing that compares to like being on stage and doing it. So
Obviously, stage. Obviously, if you're touring, you're doing it, more frequently and stuff. So
yeah,
you got the stamina, you got the energy level and stuff. So COVID obviously changed some stuff, but I'm glad you guys are obviously back. You've been on tour, and you got the new album released now as well.
yep.
So before we get to talk about the new album, so we talked about this a little bit, in Michigan Metal Fest, that in October you guys are going to be part of Tennessee Metal Devastation Music Fest.
Yes.
So how was that? Did a portal of hell open up?
It did. It did. It was a blast. We couldn't have asked for a better show, turnout, day, anything at that show, at that festival. And it was just wonderful. The amount of support that everyone attended had still blows me away. Us, the guys, we have a band chat. We are talking about that show still every day. We just got a few pictures back even of our road crew guy Alex came up and took some pictures of us on stage and the crowd, and it was so crazy. It was a very surreal moment. It was very, very cold that night, but it was, I will forever remember that day.
Well, right. I'm very glad to hear you guys had a really great time. From what I've seen, what I've heard, the whole festival as a whole was, obviously very well received, and a bunch of people were there as well. So I'm glad everything worked out very well, and I didn't see any angry mobs with pitchforks around.
No, only one altercation that night. So luckily, it was taken care of very quickly. It scared the crap out of me, but it was taken care of very quickly. And Raven and Zach, who put that on, their work and that just showed the whole day. That it went on so smoothly, and it was wonderful.
Well, I'm glad to hear, and glad to hear that the situation was taken care of very quickly. Obviously, Metal Devastation Radio, very professional guys. I've had the opportunity to meet them, as have you.
Yep.
Really professional, and I know they would. Everything they do is very high caliber as well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So I'm glad no portals of hell opened up either at the music festival. But to go along, so obviously that was one show as part of your Blood and Blasphemy tour as well. So how was that tour with Summoner's Circle?
It was so fun. We could not have asked for better tour mates in them, and both musicians and people, being able to watch them night after night perform, and how theatrical and just the caliber of musicians that they are, was a treat. It really, really was. And we had so much fun going, especially down in the South. All the boys bought cowboy hats and thought they were hilarious. And we made a lot of tour memories on that one.
Oh, right on. So were they hilarious in the cowboy hats? You didn't sound too amused.
They kept trying to get me to wear one too, and I did not want to, but they all did, and it was pretty funny. I think they're from Tennessee, and they gave lessons to our drummer on accents and various sayings down south, and I think I have that on video somewhere, so that'll get posted eventually.
Oh, I definitely want to see that, because that sounds very funny.
Yeah.
Does the drummer still does he retain those sayings even when you're back home now?
Yeah, in our band chat every day. And I'm thinking, yeah, the most memorable one was after our show in New Orleans, and we were sitting out in front of the venue, and they're just back and forth. It was really funny.
Oh man, listen, it sounds really great, and I'm glad you guys had a very fun tour with Summoner's Circle. So you kind of already. I was going to ask what moments stood out, but you already kind of listed some. So, but I'm glad everything was very fun for you guys.
Yeah, it was a blast.
So that since you guys you went on tour with Summoner's Circle, so I know that was a couple weeks. I want to say about two or 3 weeks. I want to say about.
Yep.
So for you, like, who are some bands you really want to tour with that you haven't yet?
That we haven't yet. Oh, that's a good question. I'd love to tour with Gorgatron. There are so many bands. Our friends in Squidhammer that are also from Wisconsin. People that I haven't. Well, I'm going to count it because we only got 3 dates with the guys in WOR. And I'd like to do a full tour with them, definitely. So there are 3. I'd love to tour with Phil. We unfortunately missed out on that opportunity, so I'd love to make that happen. And Jungle Rot is a huge one for me. It is our goal to do a tour with Jungle Rot. So hopefully that happens.
I hope it does because they're badass. Jungle Rot is awesome. And with you guys on tour with them, like, sign me up. Like, I would see that.
Yeah, they show us a lot of love and they are very supportive of us. And vice versa. We adore them. So I really want to make that happen in the near future.
I hope it does because, again, like, I would love to see it. I know I could. There's tons of people who would also. So somebody make that happen eventually because I want to see it. So how, like, for you, how do you prepare for tour? Like, is there any, like, how do you prepare to go on tour, especially for like 2 or 3 weeks?
Sure. So there's a couple different things. A lot of the prep really falls on Corey and myself for the business ends of things. So the merch orders, all of that, making sure we have all of the right things that we have in inventory, because our merch is pretty extensive. So making sure we have everything goes into that. And then otherwise, like as a musician preparing, I start about 3 weeks before the tour and I start performing the set backwards. And I do add a song every few days. And that was suggested to me by Mary Zimmer from Voice Hacks, who I took lessons with. And that just kind of gets my voice ready for doing it every night. And then I just make sure I have all of the things health-wise that my voice needs on tour. I have tea. I have a little portable nebulizer that I bring just to keep everything moist. And other than that, it's making a lot of lists of things to remember to pack. And yeah, that's kind of how we prepare. We rehearse since we are all not really we're all in the Midwest, but we're not like right all together. We all practice pretty separately and then get together a few days before tour and kind of knock it all out and prepare.
Right on. There's obviously a lot for you to take care of. I didn't think of like the business part of it, but that's a huge part of obviously going on tour. I know you and Corey handle a lot of that stuff. So to do that, plus obviously prepare yourself for the music wise as well as to perform. Definitely, there's a lot that goes on to a tour that I don't think a lot of people actually see.
Yeah, we own our van too, the van that we tour in. So getting that all ready is another, like Corey usually takes care of that, but that's another added thing. Like this last tour, we found out we needed to drop like $800 the week before tour. And we're like, all right, this is what we do. So yeah, a lot goes into it.
Oh, definitely. And I know, like, obviously 800 right before tour, like, oh, that's, not a great thing the week before to hear.
It was not a great thing.
But I know obviously it's got to get done. You guys got a tour. So obviously that stuff has to get taken care of. So for you to go on the performing side now, do you have a favorite song to perform live?
I do. I really, really enjoy playing Return to the Sky live. And then I also enjoy like Worm Food. All of them are really fun that we have in the set right now. But those two are my favorites. Before that, I loved playing Bloodbathery, which was before me, but it's still just like the reaction from the fans was so great with that song. So that was fun. But yeah.
Return to the Sky is actually my favorite song by you guys. So
Yes,
it's just fun. It's got a great it's got a great riff to it, a great groove to it. That it's a really cool song.
Yeah. That one was my favorite. It was my favorite when I wrote it lyrically, and then putting it to the music and like doing that around it. I hated it. Because we had to like work around weird timing and stuff. And then finally it clicked once I recorded it. So, and then it became my absolute favorite.
All right. I'm glad you obviously got everything worked out, because the song obviously sounds amazing.
Thank you.
So the odd time signature is always an issue to work around, because obviously odd time signatures. But so since we are talking about, so obviously the new album, Rituals of Death, currently out right now on all the streaming platforms. So how was it? You already kind of talked a little bit with Return to the Sky, but how was it writing and recording this album? Because I know obviously a little bit of a gap between obviously albums for Casket Robbery.
It was one of the best experiences and equally worst experience. Like, a lot went into this, and it spanned time that was really strange, and a lot of things happened during it, throughout COVID, and even me personally going through a lot of stuff the last 2.5 years. It came out in this album, and then through COVID we had decided that we wanted to re-record it even. So we did that, and it turned into this amazing thing that it's still pretty surreal that it's out now. It's a very strange feeling. I'm so excited that it's finally out, but it's really weird that, I mean, we've held on to it for a while, and there was a really, really long time between that last EP and us releasing music. So it's really important to us, with everything that's happened the past few years, to continue to release music sooner. So we're working on stuff already. Even I have just a list of things and lyrics in my phone that are just ready to go. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad that obviously the new album's out, and it's got a ton of great feedback and support. I've seen obviously multiple people sharing about it, album reviews, all of this great stuff. Me personally, I very much enjoyed. I think for Casket Robbery, I think this is the strongest material you guys have put out to date.
Yeah, definitely. The reviews and the outlets that have picked it up so far, and the things that we've been getting lately, I think have blown all of us just completely away. The support from all of our fans on it and everything. I mean, Corey and I spent, I think, the past week and a half like packaging up all of the pre-orders, and we were overwhelmed at times, just being just us two putting together everything. But we could not have asked for a better release, and it's still going. So it's wonderful. There's still stuff that we even just got wind of that we're not allowed to share yet that we're looking forward to. So it's been really wonderful.
Oh, it definitely has. Just seeing you guys, I know obviously the first single, Worm Food, to now having the complete album release, plus something really cool for you guys, Metal Injection picked it up before the release date as well. So how was that feeling?
It was crazy. It was so crazy. We had Decibel pick up the video. We got the message from them, and the support is just blowing us away. We're so excited because I mean, we all work really hard. Corey is honestly the hardest working musician I have ever seen. And maybe it's because I see it day in and day out, but there's no way that this band would be where it's at without the amount of hours and effort that he puts into this, behind the scenes with literally everything. So it's nice to see some of this complementing all of the work that he's done and the goals that we have as a band. So hoping this helps us keep pushing.
I hope it does too, because as I said, this is to me the strongest music you guys have put out. The whole album, very solid. When I was listening to it, like I didn't skip any songs. I was like, it just flowed so nicely with each song. And I know Corey and yourself, you guys put a lot of effort into the music side plus the business side and handling all that. Like I saw when I saw you guys Michigan Metal Fest, like how much effort and work you guys put in just for setting up, obviously, of your merch tent and preparing for the show and all that. You guys put a ton of work in.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's so worth it. So
definitely, for sure. And I know I've featured a couple of the songs on my show. I know Joseph has featured a couple of songs on Brutal Block as well. But for anyone who hasn't checked out Rituals of Death, like what can they expect musically and lyrically?
You can expect to be surprised, I think. It's not going to follow your traditional death metal sound. We kind of like defy you to mark us as death metal and then listen to this next track and we're going to throw in other elements and things like that. I tried new things vocally, and there's just so many elements. It's been really fun reading reviews about what people think our genre is. It's been interesting on this one because everyone really is starting with death metal. They're like, yeah, this is death metal, but then adding in those like groove, those core, those doomy elements are really fun. So I think you can expect to be surprised and that's probably the biggest thing. And that it's someone wrote that it was really easy, accessible death metal, and I like that. I like that people want to listen and can't put it down. That is the biggest compliment.
Oh, it definitely is, and I definitely concur with that as well, because I listened to it the whole way through without usually I stop, break it up, but like I was like, I want to keep listening because you guys definitely explored some different elements in music. I just say it's metal because I don't get too technical with the terms and all that stuff, but you guys did throw in some different elements in there. That's why I think you guys are really progressing with the sound of Casket Robbery.
Yep.
For sure. But also one really cool song off the album that I very much enjoyed, and you guys actually did a music video for, was Post-Mortem. So how was it filming the music video?
Oh, it was so much fun. That day was great, and that video came out so well too because how it was shot, but also where we shot it. We got hooked up with this old, very haunted schoolhouse about 20 minutes from our house, and they actually have like paranormal investigators coming in and doing stuff, and it's these guys that are like remodeling everything to make it an actual haunt. So there are haunted, like the whole first floor is like haunted rooms and stuff, and like a haunted house, but I mean it's actually really haunted. So we did an investigation after we shot the video, and it was so fun because one of the rooms was like an autopsy room, and it kind of just, we used certain things. Corey and I went around picking things. I had a very, very particular vision for this song that I needed followed to a T. I even got very picky on like the original first drafts of it that came back. So it was so fun. It was really cold that day, but it was really fun.
That's really cool. Like, filming actually a haunted schoolhouse. Now, was it like some different energy, in the building?
Yeah, you can definitely play off all of that. we love going out there too. I mean, Corey and I were just out there the other night. And they have something really cool. They have really big goals for that place. And I think they are going to attain them with just everything they've brought so far. But yeah, the energy there is like nothing else I've ever felt. And it's good energy too. It's not like you go in there like terrified.
No, for sure. And I know I really enjoyed the music video, you guys. You had some really different shots. And I know to me, like when I first started listening to, especially with like the just the spoken word intro, like the beginning of the music video, like I was like, oh, this is pretty eerie. Like, give me a little bit of chills. I was like, I like this. This is different.
Yes, that's my favorite part.
Well, it definitely really stood out to me. And like usually when I listen to music or like watch music videos, I don't get that kind of feeling. So I was like, we're on to something good here because
yeah,
this is different. So that's really cool. I'm going to leave a link for the music video in the description of this podcast as well. So as I'm wrapping up this interview, a very challenging question. I haven't asked people. I've started to bring this back because I know it's a little bit challenging. But for you, what has been your most favorite moment from your musical career so far?
Oh, that's so hard because it changes
I
a lot.
did say ahead of time.
And there's so many different things that have happened along this that have stood out, like us playing the Viper Room in LA, or opening for Cannibal Corpse and stuff. But actually, when I think about it, and recently when we played the Tennessee Metal Devastation Festival, we don't get a whole lot of chances to play all ages shows, and that happened to be an all age show, and there were so many children and like young adult, like teenagers too. And one teenager in particular came up to me. I took pictures with a bunch of them that night that they're all over my Instagram now, but one in particular came up and said, "You are my goal, and I want to be that." And that took me completely off guard. And it was just so humbling, and so exciting that there is a younger generation that is getting exposed to this music, and that I can be a, show representation of this music and everything, that it can be done. And, and just, it really kind of took me aback, and I won't ever forget that.
This sounds like a really cool moment, and especially to inspire like the upcoming generations and to show them a really good, as you said, really good representation of the genre. I think that is really cool and a very unique experience. Yeah.
I wrote about it a little bit ago, but it's just that has stuck with me. The amount of, I think I made a post, even the kids that were there that day, just it was really wonderful that they have that experience, and seeing our genre of music and how loving everyone was for the genre that we all perform.
I know, and I know that obviously the metal genre and sometimes music in general gets a little bit of a negative reputation, but I think it's really starting to turn around, and people like, I've been to some great metal shows, and like everyone's just so cool, a lot of love, and there's not, not like what a lot of people assume metal shows are going to be about.
Yeah, so much love. There's just so much love. And it's really fun. Like we said it so many times touring with Summoner's Circle, the theatrical, thing that they do to some people, and through the zealots that were very scared of this show coming to this town, and touring with them. They are literally the biggest teddy bears in the world. They're so sweet and kind, and we try to be, that way too. And I think that more people are learning that that's an actual thing. But people fear what they don't know, and until we're kind of scary.
But I got to hang out with you guys in person as well, and obviously you guys are really, really cool, really nice. But yeah, there was that that fear, and obviously of just the unknown. Obviously, some people just based off looks and stuff. But I know, as we kind of talked about in the previous interview, like the news sometimes doesn't give people much. They kind of just give a one-sided approach to metal music.
Yes, very true.
But I really appreciate you sharing that really great story. And I'm glad you had the opportunity to share that, because that was really cool. Like, even for me, like, that is really cool to hear that you had that great experience at the music festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as I'm wrapping up this interview, what are the plans for Casket Robbery for next year, 2023? Coming up very fast.
It is coming up fast. So we have one more localish, like Midwest local show this year. Otherwise, next year, we've got 1-2 tours ready to go so far, and that's pretty early on in the year. So we'll be amping up to tour off of this album, to get writing on this next one, which is what we're going to spend the next month and a half kind of doing as well. And then just get on the road as much as possible right now and get out to everyone. That was my favorite part of this tour, was finally, after 2.5 years, seeing everyone and hugging everyone again. So getting back on that kind of upwards trajectory that we had before COVID, and getting back and showing people that we are back.
Oh, definitely. Live music coming back very strong now, and I'm glad you had the opportunity, obviously, to tour, but also to meet everybody. I'm glad you guys are getting an opportunity, and more to come for next year as well.
Absolutely.
So last thing, if anyone's interested, where can they find Casket Robbery online?
You can find us absolutely everywhere online, on all of the social media platforms. We make it a big deal to talk to everyone on those and to be accessible on all of those. I've even started streaming on Twitch a lot lately, playing a lot of video games, so that's fun. But you can find all of those links at casketrobbery.com.
Very good, very good. I will drop the casketrobbery.com link in the description as well. Please check out stream support. Give a like to Casket Robbery, new album Rituals of Death, currently out right now. Megan, always a great time chatting with you.
Thank you so much. It was so great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, for Megan of Casket Robbery, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching. Listen to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.